Now I'm going to ask you a question about inflation, which I'm sure we're going to get lots of questions on anyway, but there's been a lot of talk about inflation rising. Just quite quickly, what's your view on inflation rising and what impact might this have on the companies you invest in?
So I think the short answer to that is over the medium term, high quality businesses with pricing power is the best hedge on inflation. So that's the medium term. So that's nothing changes our philosophy. I mean, if you look at any of our company in the fund, I mean, they all are very high quality businesses with very strong pricing power, which means that whatever happens in the world, they are able to raise prices to charge more for whatever wages inflation or product cost, input costs that they might get. I think over the shorter term, I think that is where the debate comes in. We are definitely seeing some sort of inflation since we had a vaccine in Q4 last year. I think the talks of reopening, the talks of supply chain constraint, people start rushing out to hire people to open the restaurants, etc. is definitely inflationary. But to us, that is a transitory phenomenon. We don't think that is structural. We're not saying we're not going to get any inflation, because if you look at the US or the UK market before the pandemic, we would probably have about maybe 2 to 2.5% inflation every year. So I think it's typical. There's no evidence to date that suggests we're going to see a high level of inflation compared to before the pandemic. So over the medium term, I think 2 to 2.5% is quite normal. But I think what the market is now debating is we would be seeing maybe 4 to 5% inflation over the medium term consistently in the next 3 to 5 or 10 years, and we don't think that would be the case. The last point I would point to is digital transformation is massively deflationary, because if you have people working from home, doing video calls, shopping more online, then that reduce the cost of running your business, that reduce the cost or paying rent on the high streets. There's a lot of things that are actually deflationary, and that trend has been accelerated over the last 12 to 18 months, and you would expect that would become like a massive headwind to inflation over the medium term. But over the next 6 to 12 months, yeah, I'm not surprised that we will be seeing a bit of inflation, because everyone is just rushing back to do what they didn't used to do over the last 12 months.